death and resurrection. Very difficult topic.
It's difficult to talk about death when I've never gone through similar experience. So whatever we say in this lesson, it will be based on faith and promises.
When your heart is torn apart facing the ugly reality of death, the talk of a theoretic don't do much good in most cases. This is why I'm glad that you are focusing on Jesus. He knows what it is about.
Philosophers have formulated that the human nature is somehow represented by two components, one of a material part, which is the body and the flesh, and somewhat of a spiritual part. But nobody has given us scientific proof of how they construct one whole being, and do they exist separately when being split? So here comes the big dilemma. What's after death? What happens with those two components of our being?
Spirits! Don't you read books, papers, magazines? Watch TV, movies? Have you been to a haunted house? Seriously though, the first thing that I see looking at Jesus is how compassionate he was, and how he demonstrated clearly that even in such moments, he is in charge.
There is no question of what Jesus revealed that death is. And after all, he is the one who came from the dead. And he is the one God who creates life from nothing. His view of death was of people who are in state of unconsciousness, where any works, emotions, and thoughts do not exist. Our friend Lazarus is asleep, Jesus said.
This whole concept makes a lot of sense in the context that we know, with creation, sin, God's involvement and dedication to redeem us, the natural consequences of separating from the Creator and the source of life. But if you are raised in other circumstances, the perceptions are very different. And as Christianity grew, they got mingled in the mix.
It's not easy to accept death. Hardly someone dies because of their own will, and people fight with all they can for their lives. After all, we are helpless to lock in together our spirit and our body. But Jesus, being God, creator and sustainer, can bring together those two components and recreate life, even after it has disappeared. And this remains the highest hope that every Christian carries deep into his heart.
Hope. What are the hopes for my life? My dreams? Is it just to pass by? Is it to accomplish something? Is it something just for now or for an eternal future? It all impacts my here and now.
Who will be resurrected and when? Contrary to what probably common sense dictates is what the Bible tells us. All the people will be resurrected one day, some for life, some for death. And those who chose life forever also chose death to sin. And those who chose life in sin will receive death forever.
Sounds fair. We should all come together at the end and see the choices that we made.
I can't imagine the gospel without the resurrection, and in particular of Jesus Christ. Nothing will make any sense to me, nor will have any power over my heart. Jesus' words, "You will have life abundantly," have value only if life conquers death. And also Jesus' words, "and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am," have any meaning if life is possible through resurrection.
Just look at Jesus. His story tells it all.